Okay, so today I'm actually speaking with Reverend Dan Ofoegbu. Good afternoon. How are
Good
you
afternoon.
doing, sir?
I'm good, and you?
Oh, I'm doing well too. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
You
Yeah,
are.
so today, we're talking about lessons that we learned in 2020. And the reason I wanted to talk to you, like I said, Pastor, um, I know you learned so many lessons in 2020, like pastoring your congregation and everything that you do. So, can you go ahead and share some of those lessons that you learned in 2020 as a pastor?
Yes, you're right. 2020 is really a year of lesson learning in all direction of all kind. First of all, the year 2020 taught me is to be at alert. Be on the alert for change, rearranging priorities. Um, it is really, when we look at it going back from the beginning, I learned of the seriousness of COVID-19. That was in the second week of March. Um, and on the Friday of that week, which March 13th, I received a directive from our bishop, which went to all the priests in the diocese, um, alerting us that we are not going to hold service on that particular Sunday coming on the 15th of March. Um, and then he asked us to get with him or his assistant to tell him or his assistant on how we are going to communicate with our parishioners, because we are not going to hold service that Sunday, which is on the 15th. Here we are with copies of the bulletin for the worship on that Sunday that I have already made here. So I started making phone calls and, dialoguing with my colleagues here. We started networking, exchanging ideas and gathering information. Uh, Finally, we come up with doing the worship live on Facebook. That's what we did. This was happening Friday, Saturday, and you can tell people who are not technologically inclined, this posed a great concern.
Yes.
I thank God I have younger ones in the family. My children, they were aware of all this, and they helped me out that first week to set these things up. And we had a worship, had our people, parishioners, watch through the computers and phones at home. And as time went on, we continued with that. We began to stream, church services and weekly events that we do, having Sunday schools uh, over the phone and stuff. This becomes a very strange thing at first, but it taught us that lesson to be ready at all
Yeah.
times to make changes.
Yeah.
Also, that taught me a lesson not to give excuses for not having enough time to do anything, especially to doing the essential thing in life. As a pastor, as a priest, reaching out to people at all time, in every situation of their life, when you are called or when you are allotted, to change things and prioritize the things you do. It is a great lesson that I learned. So, in everything, also, 2020 taught us to put life first. Put
Hmm.
life first in everything you do.
Yes.
Life first. Um, we shut down churches. The bishop shut down churches just to save lives, um, because without that, you can, what else can you do without life? So
Yeah.
life first. When the government gave the instruction, the bishop did not go to uh, argue with them or what, but he understood where they're coming from. This is about saving life.
Lives.
So he gave the directive, and we followed suit and shut down church doors, and then started looking for alternative to reach people, which worked out well because with the technology there at our disposal now, we can do better things that we never thought we would have
Hmm.
been able to do. So this gave us that life lesson, to looking beyond the norms, to discover how else we can do things other than the normal. So when this abnormal came in, then we looked for other ways of doing things other than the normal, and they worked out well. Today, I am reaching to people, not just my parishioners, but other people, even beyond uh, this country. People are watching our service throughout the world. I have heard from people from all over the world. People I never knew will ever know that
Mm.
I'm a priest here in America, but they found out through Facebook Live, and they're tuning every Sunday now. Even the way it is now, if things comes back to normal,
Hmm.
I know that Facebook Live worship will continue, not just for my church, but for other churches, because we have already found people, we're reaching people uh, out there in the world, not just here in America. So that becomes a good part of what we're talking about here. It's a lesson learned, and we thank God that He is sustaining us so far. As
Hmm.
we go. Yeah.
And you know, Reverend, when you were talking about, you know, the Facebook Live and stuff, you know, when this first started, like when they closed all the churches, I was just going like, you know, like churches that were not ready, but it didn't even take any church like a minute. They just set up the Facebook Live, like you're saying, and then YouTube. And like what you're saying now, you are able to reach even more people. So
Yes.
even when the church starts and the people here still come, you can still reach other people, you
That's
know.
right.
So it was like I mean, I just saw it as a blessing in disguise that God was just trying to use this, you know, like we're saying, it's like I'm going to expand you. And it was good that you could see it that way, because most people thought, oh, they closed churches, they don't want us to go to church. But that wasn't the, you know, God was just using this to kind of expand, you know, churches that wanted to be expanded. So it's
Yeah.
like you have an online audience and you have your in-house audience too. So
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you for that, going forward, like in 2021, we still don't know what it's going to be like, but with the vaccine out and everything, we're just praying, God is just going to remove this pandemic from our lives. So do you have any goals for yourself, for the church, for 2021?
It is really a very hard and difficult thing to do now, to set goal for 2021, other than to continue on what we are doing good this time, to what we are doing to sustain people's life, what we are doing to educate people, to not only spiritually ministering to them, but also to
Mhm.
giving them that education to let them stay safe. People, when government are giving directives, a lot of people, they don't take it, they don't hear it right away. But
Mhm.
when it comes from, like, say, from the priests, the pastors of the churches, speaking to their congregation about the same thing, the governor, the president, the attorney general's office, the medical director is talking, they tend to hear it better. So that is really what we are in now. And I, as a person, wanted to be in that, uh, stay that way, not making any, like, say, budget, and there's hard rules of what 2021 will be like, because we don't know.
Yeah.
And especially where we are on following the directive, like you can make any decision you want to make and say this is the way you want, you're thinking things will go.
Mhm.
Immediately the directive comes from the bishop, you immediately abandon everything and follow that directive. And that is, we are kind of playing it by ear for 2021. In the meantime, we are documenting the lessons we learn. So 2021 will really be a good time for putting down all these, documenting these lessons that we learn, and also uh, putting some writing policies as a guideline for the church to follow. Should things come back to normal? We don't know what normal will be this time, because for sure it's no longer going to be business as usual, the way we have seen things. For example, myself here, my church, the way my church is built, uh, didn't give much of lightning to the church.
Mhm.
Even the Facebook that we do now is like a struggling. We are putting up all kinds of uh, artificial lights just to make things work. So one of the things that will have happened in 2021, if by God's grace we have way of raising the fund, is to lighten the church, to make it like, just like I have said, even if things come back to normal and we started back corporate worship, face-to-face worship, we
Mhm.
will continue to do the Facebook Live,
Yeah.
because it has come to stay. Therefore, um, we will do the necessary changes in the church to make it to lighten the church, um, for that to be improved and be better.
Yeah, but one thing that I liked, that you said, like with goals, because I'm someone that I always start setting up my goals in September. But this year it took me till, like I would say December. And I'm still, kind of like struggling with it, like how you say it's a man proposes, and then, like God disposes. So it's like we set up all these goals, but sometimes God can change it, just like he did in 2020. So
Yes.
that's a good idea. But anyway, I'm going to have you back, and I mean, to talk some more. But I just want to say thank you for taking out this time to speak with me today. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. It's been my
Okay,
pleasure.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
and have a blessed day. And
God
we'll
bless
talk
you.
again.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye bye.
Okay, bye bye.